in this office with this woman and him, and they go, "This is cool, but where's Debbie Harry?" And I fucking picked up the files and walked out of the room.
Yeah.
They were gonna sue me. I said, "Go fucking sue me. Fuck you."
So let me get into this right from the beginning here. So you obviously are Stephen Blush, author
That's
of
what they
American
say.
Hardcore, yes, and
Yeah,
director
I've
of the
done a few
movie.
things, written a few books, made a few
Yeah,
films, but not but it's all about talking about, bringing it back to my roots of punk and hardcore and
yeah,
all that, and
yeah,
I've known you from back in the day, so, I
yeah.
know you know the story.
Right, right. Hopefully, we can get some decent info that maybe some people don't know. Um, and so you're from New Jersey originally, right? But you spent
Yeah,
some time in New York.
yeah, so my dad worked in the Lower East Side on Christie Street.
Hmm.
So I used to spend every weekend of my life um uh, you know, on the streets running errands for him, getting into trouble, discovering CBGBs,
Uh-huh.
discovering the drug dealers, meeting the mafia guys on the east, on the little to the west side.
Yeah.
So I had this double life where I was born, first grew up in Howard Beach, Queens, which
Oh,
is like
okay.
mafia central.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, my mother was like, we're getting him out of here. Me and my sister, like, just get us out of there.
Yeah.
And so we moved to Central Jersey,
Hmm.
which was culture shock. Went there that was probably, middle of grammar school, kind
Hmm.
of thing. And that's kind of where I grew up. And it's kind of funny, but that was like a real rock and roll area, New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Uh, Matt Pinfield was from there. I went to junior high school with him.
Okay.
So he was kind of like the first guy I ever met who had a huge, huge record collection and
Hmm.
an encyclopedic knowledge of music. So I definitely got a lot from him.
Hmm.
Mitch Dean, who went to play drums in the new TSOL, as they used to be called.
Yeah. Rock TSOL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Rock TSOL. So he went to my school.
Uh-huh.
So and then New Brunswick itself was kind of happening, when I would come back there, and there was a place called the Melody Bar where Matt Pinfield was the DJ, and
Hmm.
Martin Atkins from PIL lived there, and Tony Fletcher, the journalist writer from Britain, lived there.
Hmm.
So there was a very high music IQ
Yeah.
that I grew up around, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
So
Going to CBGBs as like a 14-year-old
yeah.
and getting served liquor.
Yeah.
Um, and I did see a few shows, but it was basically a little too late in the evening for me to see much. I
Hmm.
did see a Blondie show.
Oh.
I did see the Tough Darts.
Uh-huh.
I saw James Chance. I saw a few things. I didn't see the Ramones, or I didn't. There's a lot of stuff I missed on the CB's agenda. I didn't see the Dead Boys,
Hmm.
but I got this feeling that stuff was going around there.
Yeah.
And then in my junior year of high school, I went on an exchange program to England.
Uh-huh.
And I saw Iggy Pop. I saw The Clash before they came to America.
Hmm.
Saw Sham 69. Saw 999.
Yeah.
So I came back and I was just like a different person.
Yeah, I bet, man. Do you remember
Yeah.
what Iggy tour that was?
Was that?
Do you remember what Iggy tour it was that you saw over there?
That was with Ivan Krall.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was Machine or something. Isn't Didn't they have a record that was called Machine or something? Do I have
Uh,
that right?
I don't know.
It was like about 1978, 79.
Okay.
Um, and it was just bedlam.
Yeah.
I had never seen a band like that. I had seen Led Zeppelin
Oh, okay.
at Madison Square Garden, which
Yeah.
was pretty intense, but that was
Yeah.
intense in a different way. That was like
Yeah.
people throwing M80s into the crowd
God. Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
just like bad, bad kids, just
Yeah.
but punk rock was like a whole other thing. I saw Susie and the Banshees
Uh,
when they were kind of like they'd wear swastikas and stuff,
oh
and
God. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
you
I
just kind of,
yeah, and I came back with all these records like the Borstal Breakout single by Sham 69 and
yeah.
Identity by X-Ray Specs, which was pink vinyl.
Uh,
There was you never saw this kind of stuff. Certainly in Central Jersey, you never saw this stuff
yeah.
where
Yeah.
most of the guys were still like working on their cars and listening to Machine Head by Deep Purple. It was like a whole other world.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So and then I was just off. I just went off. I had a high school girlfriend whose brother and whose brothers and sister, there were three of them. They were older, and they were so locked in that they had tickets for Joy Division
mhm.
when Ian Curtis killed himself.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
so they just were like, they were so ahead of the curve, and they would bring me to see. They were more new wave,
Hmm.
so post punk. That's because I wasn't really around for the Sex Pistols or all that kind of stuff. I did see the Clash's first American show because I had seen them in England,
Hmm.
and that was the band that really connected with me.
Yeah. So you
Um,
was that at the Palladium there in New York?
Correct.
Yeah.
And in fact, for people who are really into their musicology, if you get the first Cramps album,
Hmm.
Gravest Hits, I think it's called,
Yeah.
and there's a crowd shot on the back cover,
Hmm.
and you could pick me out in that
Oh,
crowd.
cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, so, but I was like, I just like punk rock was just and
Mhm.
I was living that, and I was never going to change, and it really hasn't changed. So
Right. I hear you.
yeah,
Yeah. So you just kind of wandered into CB's? Like, had you heard of it before, or you just like walked
no,
in?
it was just like another bar. I
Yeah.
would just go to bars, and
Yeah.
just
Oh, that's
drink.
cool.
Yeah, so I
Did your
just
dad have any idea what you were doing?
well, the few times that I threw up outside of the car, stuff like that,
Yeah.
but he didn't really pay attention. He knew he had a couple friends he was friends with this guy named Arthur Weinstein who later ran that club The World.
Hmm.
So and he before that had a club called the Continental, which is not Trigger's club, but there was a after hours place called the Continental.
Oh, okay.
And I would because of Arthur, I would go to all these events and go to after hours clubs, and he kind of looked out for me, for my dad,
Hmm.
basically,
Hmm.
because he just
Gotcha.
didn't
Yeah.
want me
Yeah.
to too much. Now you can't even imagine what trouble this guy Arthur was. It was always on like had so many drugs on him at any
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
He passed away a few years ago,
Oh,
but
okay.
he was later the lighting guy at the Limelight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So these were the kind of people who I kind of, because of Arthur, I knew a lot of people too, but I went to college in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
and I got involved. There was this incredible scene. I had seen Minor Threat. Actually, I'd seen the Teen Idols,
Hmm.
which is the band before them.
Yeah.
And I had seen SOA play, which was Henry's first band.
Yeah. Nice. That's cool.
And I saw the Bad Brains. So, but I wasn't a musician. I never really thought, like, in DC, everybody was in a band.
Hmm.
But I didn't really have that mindset. I was like, I was going to college. I went to a
Yeah.
place where everyone became a lawyer, the George Washington University.
Yeah.
And I just thought that I was going on that route until, seeing the dead Kennedys, seeing Black Flag, seeing MDC. My journey was just wrecked. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I
Black
was
Rock
no
ruined your
longer that
life.
person.
Yeah.
So, and I remember seeing Black Flag at the 930 Club with Des Cadena.
Oh, okay.
And I remember I sat down on the floor with Ian MacKaye and Henry Rollins and all these other guys in the scene
Hmm.
and just kind of listening to Black Flag teach us. Like, I mean, I wasn't like those guys probably got millions of lessons from Black Flag, but
Yeah.
I had this one time where I sat down with them and they were talking about stuff like success in non-economic terms, like the idea that you could be successful and broke, which really blew my mind because I never even considered that.
Hmm.
I didn't, that wasn't part of what I was taught. You're either successful and you make money or you fail and you have no money. But
Yeah.
these bands were touring and, meant the world to us.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that Black Flag show and just, how when you see a really life-changing show and you just think about it for like a couple weeks?
Yeah, of course.
It,
Yeah.
yeah, it just doesn't leave your head.
Yeah.
So that was it for me at Black Flag.
So you were sitting there with like Greg and Chuck Dukowski telling you that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I
That's
didn't really even know who these guys were. I
yeah.
just know that I saw this show that blew my mind. I'd
Yeah.
known about them from the Decline and Fall of Western Civilization movie,
Yeah.
but it was just they were just and what was weird was now it's of course it's not weird at all, but you could just walk. They didn't have any security backstage.
Right.
They were just like walk in, hang out with us.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that was, not just was everybody talks about how hardcore was like the crowd and the band are one.
Hmm.
They're all like, you know, uh, there's no separation between the band and the crowd. You're just brought there. But it was also the whole lifestyle was like that. The whole way they brought it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so anyway, so everybody was in a band in DC and I wasn't in a band. So I was a college radio DJ and
Uh,
I was the first one playing. I had Ian MacKaye over as one of his first radio appearances. So, but I
mhm.
remember playing test pressings of records on Discord and Touch and Go and
Nice.
SST and Exclaim and all these labels,
Hmm.
stuff I had never heard of before. And so it was, I just found myself just diving into this thing more and more. And I couldn't play in a band, so I became the kid promoter.
Yeah. Yeah. You booked kind of a famous or even infamous Dead Kennedy show down there in '83, right? In June
Yeah,
5th,
I
'83.
booked them twice. Once I almost went to jail
Yeah.
um, because I rented this hall and they like the doors were locked with like padlocks and shit. And the
Uh,
fucking cops show up and they're like, "This is so illegal. We should just throw you in jail."
uh,
And then the Dead Kennedys kind of calmed down the crowd and brought it, okay. But the first time I had booked them was in my school auditorium, school cafeteria. I'm sorry.
mm,
And that really almost got me thrown out of school. I mean, because I used the name of the radio station to rent the hall,
right.
and you can't do that. So of course I did that.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I booked a couple Minor Threat shows. I booked Minor Threat and PIL, which was I think their final show. But right before that, I did Trouble Funk and Minor Threat and the Big Boys.
Oh wow, those were your show. Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't
those were my shows. In fact, if you look at the posters, it says a Blush production.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh
So
wow.
that was, in fact, I was just came back from Austin, Texas, And I would definitely recommend to people to see the Big Boys documentary.
Yeah,
And they have a whole section on it, and you could actually see my name on the posters and the
okay.
tickets.
Cool, cool.
But their
So,
story is so great that they
yeah,
deserve, that's a
yeah,
whole other story. I can't even go into that one.
yeah, I
But
hear you.
but that was my start, and then I came to New York and I booked a few shows. Got thrown out of a few clubs. Became a DJ for about 15 years.
Hmm.
Um, and then I started a magazine called Seconds Magazine, and I was
Yes. So that was
yeah.
actually like your mag.
Yeah,
You
that was
just
my
write for
magazine.
that.
That
Yeah,
was my vision of a idea of all kinds of music,
hmm,
not just punk, but
yeah,
metal and funk and hip
yeah,
hop, and that was like, I guess, very radical for that time,
hmm,
to do something like that. And also, I started getting all these gigs writing for people. There was something called Paper Magazine, which was a
hmm,
fashion magazine. It was like paper and details and interview magazine. So they all liked me. They liked my musical thing. They liked me as a DJ. So I became a writer for all those magazines. I
okay,
wrote for Spin. I wrote for Rolling Stone a tiny bit, but
uh-huh,
basically Spin, um, Kerrang, Rip magazine. So
okay,
I was kind of traversing this whole punk metal thing.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's what interested me,
yeah,
when Metallica and Slayer and uh really those two. I mean everyone talks about Megadeth and Anthrax being part of this like great four bands, but
yeah.
I didn't really see those bands as on the same level.
I agree with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But hold on a second, though. Let me stop you just to rewind for 1 second. I'm intrigued by Minor Threat with Public Image on
Yeah.
the same bill. How do you have any memories about that show? Like how'd they
Yeah,
go
so
over?
there's this guy, his name is Bob Tulipan,
Uh-huh.
still around somewhere, was booking PIL. And PIL had already been in so much trouble with clubs. There was a famous show at the Ritz
With the
where
screens.
there was
Yeah,
a riot, right?
yeah,
You know the story, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's a famous story of rock history where there's like literally a riot where they played. So
yeah.
it wasn't like promoters were knocking down their doors to book PIL.
Right, right.
And they found some kids who would overpay them to play, um, and convinced Minor Threat to play. The band, everyone in the band was way, way into it, except for Ian MacKaye,
Oh,
who hated the idea.
really?
But he later he said to me that like he realized that was like one of the biggest, most important moves that band ever made.
Hmm.
But they were they played for I think they played for like a couple $100 just so we could charge like very low prices for the tickets.
Hmm. Oh, Minor
Because
Threat.
otherwise
Oh,
that was going to be a very expensive show.
yeah, yeah.
And but that was a great show, and PIL was great, and Minor Threat was like really there wasn't a bad Minor Threat show. I mean,
I'm
I
sure.
probably
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's people who saw Minor Threat a lot more than I did, but I
Uh-huh.
mean, I certainly saw them over 5 times,
Okay.
and they were great. I mean, they were just the energy was just so off. It was off the map,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I had never seen a band sell their records so cheap and really be about the kids and being in talk about being in, it wasn't just that they were like in the crowd, but they were like share it was like a shared experience.
Hmm.
It was like the um you were like Ian MacKaye was singing with the crowd and the crowd knew all the words.
Right.
So it was really deep.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so the Trouble Funk Minor Threat show was really groundbreaking and life-changing because you basically brought black and white together for the first time.
Hmm.
You sometimes hear punk funk. Punk funk was, we didn't really come up with that name. We called it the punk funk show or something like
Uh,
that, punk funk extravaganza.
yeah.
But that was something we got from Rick James.
I was gonna say, yeah, Rick James was punk funk. I know, yeah.
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
he was using that word.
Yeah.
So we kind of went with that.
Hmm.
Um, and and then and also on that bill again was the Big Boys
Right, right, yeah.
who actually did funk and punk.
Yeah, that's right. They did, yeah.
And they were amazing on that show. In fact, I just saw Tim Kerr when I was down in Austin, Texas, and it was
Hmm.
just like a reunion.
Hmm.
I saw him on the first I saw him on the first tour of the American Hardcore book, which was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen him since. I saw him in 1983 or whatever year that was. I think it was 83,
Uh-huh.
82, 83. And I saw him in 2001 when that tour happened.
Hmm.
I saw him 2006 when the American Hardcore film came out. And I
Hmm.
just saw him last week.
Okay.
That's my only encounters with him.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty
And
cool. So what can you remember? Like, was there had the crowds mix for that show, the Trouble Funk show?
well, everybody, both crowds were terrified of each other,
Uh-huh.
really, because the black people were intimidated in a like they had never seen anything like this.
Hmm.
Kids jumping off of stages, and you know,
Hmm.
even both crowds were uh scared by what they thought was going to happen. I think the white kids thought there was going to be like this kind of violence and crime. The 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 black kids just thought these kids were from like Mars or something.
Yeah,
They couldn't believe what they were experiencing.
yeah.
Um, and but the guys from Trouble Funk, who I had known a little bit because my partner on that production went in to become very big in the go-go world.
Uh-huh.
He basically went from like a Jewish kid at college to turning into a really tough black man.
Okay. As one does, sure. Yeah,
and he booked Trouble Funk and he booked Chuck Brown and Rare Essence, and these are names people might not know, but these were the big go-go bands.
yeah. Hmm.
And the go-go bands would play every week. Like they play like 2, 3 times a week and draw like 1,000 people a show.
Yeah, they were probably bigger than Minor Threat in DC,
Yeah, they
right?
were way bigger than Minor Threat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was really like Minor Threat. Uh, Minor Threat was like a 200 person a night kind of thing until it got toward the end. It got a lot bigger.
Hmm.
But everybody was, name me a band that wasn't a 200 person a night show when
Right,
they first got
right.
started.
Yeah,
That's what this shit was.
yeah,
That's what hardcore was, right?
yeah,
Punk, whatever. Yeah,
yeah. So you managed a band called No Trend for a while, right?
I sure did. I put out their records.
Yeah.
I put out every record but their final one, which came out on Touch and Go.
Okay. What was
And
your label called? Did you have a name or was it
No
just
Trend Records.
okay? Yeah, that was going to be my guess.
and
I remember that
it
record.
came
I
out of
saw
my
them.
house. Yeah,
What's that?
they came out of my house. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I saw No Trend a few times back in those days, and
yeah,
I so I'm familiar with the record, The Too Many Humans and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of the label. But so how did you end up like managing them? Were they friends of yours or?
I was booking the PIL Minor Threat show.
Uh-huh.
I kept getting called like every bang in the phone. Jeff from No Trend was just calling me like 2, 3 times a day, and I was just fascinated by like how funny but negative this guy was.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that band was just like the most negative band ever.
Well,
You
right.
know,
They kind of existed to piss people off, right? Like at hardcore shows.
100%.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
used to do a thing where they would shove uh, these really nasty stuff about the DC hardcore scene, these like flyers up the all the straight edge kids went to the Coke machines
Uh-huh.
in Georgetown,
Yeah.
because they didn't do drugs or anything like that. So Jeff would go and shove these flyers up the Coke machines, all these Coke machines. So these kids would put the money in and then they'd get this flyer dropped down. And
Yeah.
it was really offensive to them. Uh, they were such a great band. You
Uh-huh.
know, No Trend hated everybody.
Yeah.
So I guess it was only a matter of time till they hated me. But I put out all those records. I never had any beef with them. I kind of knew that it was going to end like that, but I booked all these tours for them,
Hmm.
national tours,
Yeah.
and I had this van, I had this ambulance van,
Nice.
and we used to go around the country and tour. And
So you were actually on the road with them.
oh yeah, so we did shows at we did definitely the first Flaming Lips show, which was
Hmm.
in Norman, Oklahoma. We did, I think, the second or the third Soundgarden show in Seattle.
Oh, nice.
Um, in fact, Chris Cornell, who I was pretty tight with, Soundgarden, the grunge bands, I was very, as a journalist, I had an amazing relationship with all the Seattle grunge bands because they were essentially punk bands turned rock.
Yeah. In the beginning.
So we could just sit there and talk about punk rock the whole time.
Hmm.
Or Jeff Ament from Pearl Jam, or when these guys, he used to have a band called Deranged Diction,
Hmm.
uh, that played in. They came from Montana, but they played in Seattle.
Hmm.
Um, so uh, I know we played with Big Black in one of their first shows. Uh, we played a lot with Husker Du. We played Articles of Faith, one of their first shows.
Hmm.
So we were really locked in, but the problem was is that No Tread hated everybody, so they hated all these bands. And they'd be sitting there like making fun of, bands. This is when I started to fall out with them a little bit, was because we were playing with all these incredible bands and they're sitting on the side of the stage making fun of them.
Yeah.
And they were these amazing bands.
Right.
It's like, oh, like, Big Black is soft, like, oh, like, you know, uh Husker Du is weak,
Yeah.
or like, I just it got really dumb.
Yeah.
So oh, and we toured with the Dead Kennedys.
Oh, okay.
And so Joe Biafra loved No Trent.
Not surprising to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was
Yeah.
just and he was like really blown away by how negative the whole thing was.
Yeah.
But we used to play with I remember we would play with Corrosion of Conformity, we would play with Die Kreutzen, we would play with whoever who was
Yeah.
asked Joe Biafra for a show.
Hmm.
I mean, Biafra was pretty amazing, in that way. He really controlled the bill.
Hmm.
So every show, like you showed up in Boston, you got SSD, the FUs, and Jerry's Kids to open.
Yeah.
You show up in Minneapolis, you got Husker Du, Man-Sized Action, uh,
Like loud,
and the
fast
band that
rules.
became Soul Asylum. I
Loud,
can't.
fast rules. Yeah.
Yeah, Loud Fast
Yeah.
Rules, right?
Yeah.
So it was like that in every town, just
Yeah.
every town.
Yeah.
And yeah, you show up in Seattle, it would be like DOA, Soundgarden, and the U-Men,
Hmm.
right? So like it was just such high level musical education at that time. So
Yeah.
me, it was just like just kept on pushing the envelope. And then, there were police riots at all these Dead Kennedy shows where like the cops would come and shut it down. So the next but 2 years later, I'm hanging out on the road with Slayer, and it's like the
Uh,
same thing. It's like
yeah,
so dangerous to
yeah,
be out with these bands.
right. Wait, you tour managed Slayer too, or
No,
what?
no, I was a writer at that point.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I
Were you
would
at that Felt Forum '88 show with Danzig?
with Danzig.
Yeah, I was at that show.
Okay, so I'm at this show, and I smoke a joint with this big fucking joint that I brought with Tom Araya.
Uh-huh.
And if you that was kind of a messy show.
It was, to say the least.
And those guys, Jeff Haddeman and Kerry King, pulled me aside. They're like, "Don't you ever fucking do that again." And that was also Danzig opened that show.
Yeah,
Do I have
yeah.
that right?
The
And
crowd
people were
hated
throwing
Danzig,
cushions.
man. They hated him.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I
I love Danzig, but the
yeah
crowd fucking hated him, man. They were getting
yeah
like yelled, they were getting booed and stuff, man. It was
yeah
bad.
they
Like,
were they
they were
were.
getting the
I
full
go back and
Slayer,
say
you know.
yeah, Glenn Danzig is you know I have nothing bad to say about Glenn Danzig, man. It's
Yeah,
like I don't care what anybody fucking says. I mean,
yeah,
that dude goes out there and kicks ass.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. Same. Yeah, yeah. I hear you. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's funny. So it's your
Yeah.
fault. That was your.
That was my fault. Yeah. I was working at High Times at that point.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Like, were you working with John Holmstrom at all?
Oh yeah.
That's
That's
cool.
who brought me in.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. And because
Did you already know him then?
he liked my magazine and he kind of saw Seconds magazine as kind of like the next step after Punk magazine.
Hmm. Hmm.
It wasn't I don't know if that's quite true because we were just off. I think we were kind of off on our own tangent. But to have the guy from Punk Magazine love you was incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome,
I mean,
man.
I was just
Yeah,
like in awe of being able to hang out with this guy.
yeah.
So yeah, so that was great stuff.
Are
And
you still friends with him now?
I don't see him very often, but he came to a birthday party of mine a few years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's just I just don't see him.
Yeah.
But he look, there's this kind of thing about punk rock, which is it's almost like a army veteran kind of thing. Like you could pick
Mhm.
up 20 years from
Absolutely.
and you just carry on a conversation like it was yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You know. Um, so okay, getting back to your writing there.
yeah.
Supposedly, according to the internet, your first commissioned interview was with the Cro-Mags.
With
Is
Harley
that true?
Flanagan. Harley Flanagan for Paper Magazine.
Okay. Oh, just him. Okay.
Yeah.
That was going to be
And
my question. Who was in the band at the time and who was in the interview?
yeah, so that was the original band. That was 1986,
Okay.
Age of Quarrel, like all
Yeah.
that stuff. So I was really friends with I was tight with this guy, Jerry Williams,
Yeah, of course. I know
right,
that.
who
Yeah.
was, kind of produced all those bands and
Bad
he was
Brains
giving
and
me the
stuff.
demo. Remember the demo came out on a 10-inch,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so uh that's how so I had moved to New York in like 19 so that article's probably like 1986. I moved to New York in 1984, 1985.
Uh-huh.
There was a place called the Lismar Lounge,
Hmm.
and I booked the first White Zombie show,
Okay.
and they were
That's
opening for Dinosaur Jr.
that's an interesting bill, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, and but I was just like from day one. So from day one, I was way into them, and then I got oh man, I ended up in the Village Voice and a few things, but I got in so much fucking trouble for booking. Uh, my friend Don Hill used to run the Cat Club, and I fucking put Gigi Allen on the stage.
And so Don Dale didn't know about who he was and stuff like that.
No, and the owner was this guy Pat Kenny, and he was like this. There was a place called Kenny's
Okay,
Castaways. Do you remember
okay,
the Village?
yeah,
And it
yeah,
was like
yeah.
this real like old school.
That place might still be there, right? Kenny's
I think
Castaway.
it is still there, yeah.
Yeah,
But it was like a one of those throwback rock clubs,
yeah.
like cover bands and all that shit. And
Mhm.
that dude fucking hated me. Like, I mean, I did put Gigi Allen on his stage. I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely
Was
deserved
he
it.
like full on Gigi Allen, like shitting in a jock
Oh
strap
yeah,
and
oh
stuff?
yeah, he
Yeah,
shit on the fucking stage.
yeah.
And I hooked up that show with Michael Board,
Okay.
who was a
Nice.
very infamous New York character, right?
Yeah, I met him a few times. Nice guy,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he had this band that he put together, and I want to say Thurston Moore was in it, and
Was it called Artless or something like that? I can't even
yeah, it
remember.
was Artless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I think it was a combination of Artless and a bunch of other people
yeah. Hmm.
backed up this show, and I remember Gigi Allen. I actually knew Gigi Allen fairly well after that because through Seconds Magazine and George Petros, my editor, was really tight with him.
Uh-huh.
And so, and then I used to publish Seconds Magazine in New Hampshire,
Mm.
which is where he was from.
Yeah.
And these people at this printing shop knew him because he used to work there. They'd be like, "Oh, do you know this guy Kevin Allen?"
Hmm.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I know Kevin Allen."
Ha.
So, do you know his
Yeah.
name is actually Jesus Christ Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's because Merle couldn't say Jesus Christ and said Gigi when he was a kid
yeah,
or something.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also the school fucking freaked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
The school's like, you can't send your kid to public school and call him Jesus Christ, you know.
But why? But so how'd that Harley interview go? Do you remember like where it was and
I remember great interviews with Harley,
yeah. Yeah.
always like because here's the deal with Harley. It's that he's like he's a junior high school dropout, but he's really fucking smart,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
and it's because he grew up around really smart people, like in the East Village with, Allen Ginsberg
Hmm.
and all the people at Max's Kansas City when he was in the Stimulators and,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I have tremendous respect for Harley. I mean, he uh he created New York hardcore. I
Yeah.
mean, people are like, Agnostic Front. No disrespect to Agnostic Front, but they didn't start New York hardcore. It was
Uh,
definitely Harley.
yeah.
And uh, yeah, it wasn't Jimmy. Well, he and Jimmy, basically.
Yeah,
I
they
would
were friends and
say he,
stuff back then. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say he and Jimmy G started it,
Hmm.
because they were so they were so fucking dangerous and violent.
Yeah.
The thing about, like, I mean, it's not conjecture, when you hear the stories we talk about it in the American Hardcore book, but Jimmy talks about walking around with a 8 ball in a sock,
Hmm.
just fucking hitting people over the head. That's not somebody trying to be sound cool. I mean, that's how they were.
Yeah.
And or Harley, how many people did he fucking take out in a fight? And he is not a big guy.
I saw him clear out a whole like 10 or more people out of the Ritz one time that were trying to fuck with him, like throwing ice cubes at him,
Yeah,
and
I
he
totally
finally had
believe that.
enough. It
I
was just
totally
him.
believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because you've been around them plenty. You have
Yeah.
a whole history with them.
Yeah.
So, and it's not easy to have a history with Harley. I mean, he's like, I went on 2 tours of Japan with him.
Oh yeah?
Kind of I guess I was the road manager, though
Like
we never really
recently?
said it. What?
Recently?
No, like in the early 2000s.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they
Yeah.
got over there back then.
Yeah, they got over there. There was a tour where we got in a bus, and it was the Exploited, Discharge, GBH, and Harley's War.
Oh wow.
And it was like, so,
Wait, didn't
people would
Murphy's Law
freak
play that
out.
too?
People in Japan would fucking freak out at these people they get, did I say the Exploited?
Yeah, and wait,
Yeah,
didn't
I mean,
Murphy's Law
Waddy
maybe?
gets off the bus
Yeah.
with Harley or something, and it's just like it's on, you know.
Now that you say that, I totally forgot all about that. But I remember him like posting on MySpace, like him in like a kimono and
Yeah.
like samurai swords. I do remember that now. That's cool. You were there.
Yeah.
That's
He
cool.
once showed for one of the tours, he missed the plane. And we there was a show that night. I don't remember. I don't think it was that tour. I think it was a different tour. There was a tour where they ended up playing a lot of shows with the New York Dolls.
Hmm.
And that was a really weird one because um, David Johansen knew him really well from his mom and Max's
Hmm.
Kansas City.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so, uh, but anyway, we're playing, I don't think it was this tour. All I'm trying to say is I don't think it was this tour with,
Yeah. Different tour.
yeah, it's a different tour. He shows up with wearing a wife beater and two kettle weights and a backpack. That's
Uh-huh.
how he packed for this trip.
Okay.
And he's got, kettle weights. You know what
Yeah.
those are.
Yeah. Kettlebells. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're so, and he's just swinging them around, catching them. And, it's like, and the people from customs were just like, what is this? I said, he's with me. Let him
It's
go.
Harley. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. They're just like, you take him, get him the fuck out of here. But and I shared a room with him on that tour. I remember
Oh,
that.
okay.
So
I don't know if I should ask
if
how
you could,
that.
yeah, I mean, I could hang if I could
Yeah.
if I could spend a week in a room with Harley. I mean,
Hmm.
so but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, respect to Harley Flanagan, Glenn
Absolutely.
Danzig, like all these guys we're talking about, man. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
they're just the real deal. I heard
100%.
somebody
Yeah.
ragging on the Misfits the other day, and I'm like, shut the fuck
Yeah.
up, man.
Seriously. Yeah.
Like you get in a fight with even Jerry Only or one of those dudes, they'll fucking clock you,
Well,
you
did
know?
you ever interview Danzig back in the day or
Oh
whatever?
yeah, quite a few times.
Okay.
He was a big hero of Seconds magazine. He was on
Okay,
the
cool.
cover 3 or 4 times, yeah.
Yeah.
And we loved, that satanic side. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, do you remember a book called Lords of Chaos?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Black
so
metal and
Michael
Legion.
Moynihan wrote for us.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So, and that
That's
was
a
a
cool book.
real,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great book.
Yeah.
That's the original book on black metal.
Yeah. Right.
People write all these books on black metal now, but that was the original one. And it was really intense because we Michael Moynihan and I were on Feral House book publishing. I did American Hardcore. He did Lords of Chaos.
Hmm.
And it was like, those are fucking dangerous books. It's like my book, I assume it happened with him too, but my book got pulled from like prisons and stuff. It was like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, it was like, they're like, this is like what they're fucking talking, they're looking at the pictures of these skinheads and,
Okay. Yeah.
and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And, you know, people with swastikas shaved into their heads and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that makes a little sense then. At first, yeah, I was like, "What? Really? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah." So you kind of gave me a segue there, man. Much like Moynihan wrote the first black metal book,
yeah.
you wrote pretty much the first hardcore book with American Hardcore.
Yeah, I did. That was the
Yeah.
first thing. It's
Yeah.
a funny story was that how I did it. There was all this stuff on MTV about the mall punks being the real punks, and,
Right. Right.
and then I was hanging out interviewing Rancid, and they were fucking. I had long hair at the time. That was like my Black Flag COC thing, where you be more punk than anybody by
Yeah.
having long hair.
Right.
You remember that?
Of course.
And so I'm hanging with Rancid. They're talking down to me, and they're like saying, "Well, hardcore and punk is this," and I'm like, "Fuck you guys," you know.
Yeah.
So, and it took me 7 years to write that book.
That was going to be one of my questions. Yeah. How long it took
Yeah,
to get
and
that together.
every band came to my apartment.
Uh-huh.
I was like, Roger from AF or Mike Ness from Social Distortion or TSOL. Everybody who's in that book, like, literally came to my house,
Hmm.
and I knew them because of this whole history of being a writer or being a promoter. I booked TSOL, I booked Black Flag, Circle Jerks. These
Hmm.
bands crashed on my couch
Yeah.
back in those days.
Right.
So,
Right.
so it was, you had to be trusted a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
I was going to ask you how you got a hold of everybody. It was pre-social media, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't like you called up information and got
Right.
the number for Joey Shithead.
I mean, well, right. Although back in the day when I was in high school, I did actually call. I got Reed Mullen from COC's number from
Okay.
calling information. But yeah,
But that's like a normal name, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Right. True. Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned about that, like with Rancid and stuff, because I remember I didn't know you yet when the book came out, and I saw it at Shakespeare and Company there on Broadway, down close to St. Mark's Place. Remember that bookstore? And I was like, American hardcore. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, pal.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah, yeah.
picked it up, and then it's like, okay, my brother's band, Wasted Talent logo is in
Yeah.
there. I'm flipping through, and then a poster of a flyer, obviously not
Yep.
a poster, that I drew for the Necros at a show in Pennsylvania is in there, and I'm like, oh, it actually
Yeah.
is hardcore. Okay,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah, I know all these people were like, what does Stephen Blush know about fucking hardcore? He's a fucking hippie, you know? And I'm like, I always kept it quiet, I never really talked about it. It was I still don't really even talk about it that much. I mean,
yeah,
it's a pleasure to talk to you about it, but I don't really, I'm not the most punk rock person, but I was there.
yeah,
I hate that term, but I was there.
right, right. And
So,
actually, yeah,
and interestingly, we're talking now because 2001, I did the American Hardcore book. I went on a tour like a band. I did like 40 dates, you know, uh, you know, went to different cities, drove drove the country and got in the van.
hmm
Then it took me 5 years to make the film with Paul Rackman,
hmm
and then in 2011 I did a second edition of American Hardcore, which is the one with the yellow cover.
yeah. No, I just have the originals. Or what's different about the second one?
It's a better book.
Okay.
It's like I was able to talk. Well, I had already done the film, so I had that history. I had the people who had said, no, you got this wrong and this wrong in the
Yeah.
first book. So, but I listened to people,
Okay.
and did my research, and then there was the internet that I was able to check stuff with
Mm.
and find people and all that.
So it's
Now,
actually different. The revised edition's actually like a lot different.
yeah, it's a lot different, and it's about 100 page more.
Okay, okay. I didn't realize that. That's why I didn't get it because I thought, well, I don't really need another
Yeah,
edition
but
for.
the fucking killer thing is that we're talking now, and it's hopefully by the end of the year I'll have it done, but it might bounce into next year. Is the 25th anniversary third edition,
Okay,
and that's like I had never interviewed uh, Dave from MDC.
really?
I had never interviewed East Bay Ray or you
Uh-huh.
know, and uh, I talked to some people I had never interviewed. Well, I had in magazines, but I hadn't never. I put in the book. I extended it a little bit and put in bands like Sick of It All,
Okay.
like, Lou before he
So
passed.
wait, did you loosen the parameters of it ending? And I think you said it ended in 85 in the
Yeah, but
book.
they're in I say 80 to 86, but their first demo is 86, so I'm
Uh-huh.
like, it's kind of stupid not to
Well,
acknowledge that.
plus the Age of Quarrel comes out in 86.
Right, right. Yeah.
Dag
Like
Nasty's
the
first
book ends
album.
with like Age of Quarrel, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But so there's a little bit of that. There's more images, there's more photos,
That's
there's more
cool.
flyers. So that's a 25th anniversary third edition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah. So that's really something to look out for because
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man.
now it's the hardcore revival
The
that was
ex-
going
yeah.
on.
It comes and goes so much over the years, man, where people don't give two fucks, and then it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, 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 I know, man. Like, so I was gonna ask you. Apparently, you did. I was gonna say if you cared or if it bothered you that a lot of people were bent out of shape about some of the things in the first edition, like not enough attention on whatever band or
Well,
town.
the thing that really I found that got there's a chapter in that book called Boys in the Brigade, and it's like, okay, what's this deal with all these boys jumping on top of each other? And like, who was Donnie the Punk or
Yeah.
one of these dudes who's like, or Michael Lago who are fucking sleeping with skinheads, So that was really I would say that was the most problematic part of the book as far as I'm concerned.
Uh,
And sometimes then a few things I got wrong because people would tell me these stories and they'd be wrong about their fucking stories.
right. Well,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
at a certain point, I'm like, well, if I interview somebody who supposedly knows this stuff and they tell me a story and it's wrong, and there's no history, there's no internet or anything to find this stuff, and I'm
yeah,
I'm looking bad. So, I feel like I cleaned up that business.
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So, there will be no fourth edition. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So yeah, the movie you mentioned the movie briefly. How did like? Well, first of all, actually, how did you get the book published? Was it hard to find like the publisher? Or
Yeah, if I didn't know someone as deviant as Adam Parfrey at Feral House, I never would have gotten it out.
okay, so
I
you knew him.
worked with an agent. I was going to be on the same publishing company as Please Kill Me,
Uh-huh.
and the agent who was going to sign the deal actually was the agent for Please Kill Me. Said to me, he goes, he's I'm in this office with this woman and him, and they go, this is cool, but where's Debbie Harry? And I fucking picked up the files and walked out of the room.
Yeah,
They were gonna sue me. I said, go fucking sue me. Fuck you.
yeah,
You don't fucking get it. You don't deserve this fucking book.
yeah.
So Adam Parfrey wrote for Seconds Magazine. Uh he was you know, like there's all these characters, like Michael Moynihan and Boyd Rice and
Mm-hmm.
just really nasty fucking people, and Adam Parfrey was part of that crew.
Okay.
So he let me do exactly what I wanted to do. And
Mm-hmm.
he paid me. I mean, that book, well, really, if you put both volumes and the 6 or 7 foreign editions and you add all that up, it's like well over 100,000 copies.
Okay, that's awesome. That's
Yeah, I
cool.
mean that's a serious number.
Is it
That's like
all Feral House, like all the editions and foreign?
well, the foreign editions they sold to other people.
Okay.
But uh I can't even remember the names of the companies, but they're like the people who would publish a punk book in France and
Yeah,
Germany.
right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
the Polish edition just came out. Um, it's really like I was in when I was just saying I was in Austin, Texas. I made this new film and we
Mm-hmm.
played festivals, and everyone who was a music person knew American hardcore book and film. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and that's when I get my obituary, that's what they're gonna fucking
Yeah.
put in there, So I knew uh Paul Rackman from he made the Eye Against Eye video.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and
Cool.
he made the Gangrene videos like
Mm-hmm.
Skate to Rock or whatever those things are called.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So he made all those videos and he had worked with DOA
yeah. Uh-huh.
and then he made uh a bunch of Pantera videos and he
Oh,
made Cemetery Gates and uh
it all kind of makes sense now that you're saying it. I can see the similar visuals and all those,
right.
even Gangrene with
Yeah.
Pantera with the black and white. Obviously, black and white is pretty obvious, but yeah,
And what was the song? What was the first single? It was the name of the album that Cemetery, well, maybe Cemetery Gates is the name of the album.
Cowboys from Hell, I think,
Cowboys
right?
from Hell. So he
I'm
did
not
the
even a
Cowboys
big
from Hell
Pantera guy at
video,
all, but
that live thing.
yeah.
And he had done Uh, damn. The band that became that the members of Pearl Jam and Soundgarden were in.
Wait,
Uh,
you mean like Temple of the Dog?
Temple of the Dog. He had made
Okay,
the
yeah,
Temple of the
yeah.
Dog video.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah.
Nice.
Um, so he had made all these videos. So and I knew him since the 80s.
Hmm.
So it was we made this thing together. It was, we went to Sundance. We got picked up by Sony Picture Classics.
Yeah.
I'm staying in like five-star hotels that Celia Cruz would stay in. And,
Nice.
it was just a dream. Yeah, at Sundance, I'm hanging out with Wim Wenders. And he's like,
Cool.
he's drunk. He puts his arm around me. He's like, Steve, when you're making a movie and I'm like, yeah, yeah. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking
Of
about.
course. Yeah,
Yeah. Because, we're again just punk rock guys,
yeah, yeah.
hanging out. So, uh, yeah, that just, came out, went out to Netflix and,
Yeah. Hmm.
blah, blah, blah. So it was quite a trip.
Yeah, I remember I saw it in New York. I don't remember what the theater it was at, but I remember like Springer from SSD was there. It was like a big deal, actually. It was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah. It
cool.
was a big deal. And
Yeah,
we had parties in LA.
yeah. Ended up at
It was fun.
Manitoba's bar after
Oh
that,
yeah,
after the
yeah.
movie. Yeah,
Well, there you go.
yeah,
But it was great, and it's been
yeah.
a great ride. It's been
Hmm.
really like just a tremendous thing, and the fact that you could recognize this is, very cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm glad to talk about it for sure.
Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. What about the soundtrack behind you there? Is that going to be reissued on vinyl or anything, or is that too much of a pain in the ass?
That I came up with that. That was my big thing. Was I was the music director, and
I
I
have the
came.
CD. I was listening to it recently, actually. I got it
Yeah,
in my CD player right
that
now.
was my whole thing. I mixed that whole thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that.
that's good. That's awesome. That's a real good selection of like
I
the
think that's the
flavors.
strongest thing about the whole project, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, the film's great.
Yeah.
The
Well,
actors.
so let me ask you about like guys in the Misfits and like Social Distortion. They didn't want to be in the movie because they're not, obviously.
It's like you taught. This is what happens with movies. It's
Yeah,
like
they're in the
Dead
book.
Kennedys aren't in it.
Right.
It's
They're
like,
all in the book, obviously. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
because that I could cut a deal with. But
Uh,
they bring in your fucking lawyer. It's done. You
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So it's like there was a bunch of stuff that uh we just had to just say no. It was rough. It was that's the biggest regret I have.
Yeah.
Um, I have to kind of cut this short at this point.
Okay. Do you have like 5 more minutes? I know you got
Yes,
to
of
go.
course.
Let me,
Hmm.
because I like to do what I call my hardcore punk rock quick questions here, man. I had
Hmm.
more questions too, but I understand you got to go.
Yeah.
So, okay, Faith or Void?
Void.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was the most intense noise fest ever thrown our way.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Favorite Black Flag singer?
Henry Rollins. I mean,
Okay.
you can't take away from Henry Rollins. I mean, Henry Rollins was in the middle of the shit from day one. So, and
Yeah,
he was great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All respect to Henry Rollins for
Oh
sure.
yeah, and all the guys, but yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
hear you. Yeah.
Nobody was bad though. I have to say that.
What's that? Yeah, right, right,
Nobody was bad. Yeah.
right. What about Flip Side or Maximum Rock and Roll?
I would go flip side. I understand why Maximum Rock and Roll, and if you were looking for community, you'd have to go with Maximum Rock and Roll. But if you want to go with like rock and roll,
Yeah,
go with flip side. Yeah.
yeah, fair, good. I like it. All right, now how about Flip Side or Seconds?
Always seconds. I did it.
Good. Yeah, yeah,
That was my blood and fire, so
yeah, yeah,
and 52 issues, 14 years.
yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Is that book still available? Compiling some interviews from that?
Yes, and all the magazines are still available too at stephenblush.com.
Okay, yeah, StephenBlush.com. I was going to ask you about that. One last, NYHC or DC Hardcore?
such a hard one for me. But I would say New York because New York. The reason I say New York hardcore is because uh, DC hardcore was a place in time. New York hardcore still exists today.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and the bands are great. I mean, Sick It All was great. Cro-Mags were great. Murphy's Law's great.
Hmm.
Agnostic Front's great. So respect to New York hardcore.
Yeah. Got it. Awesome, man. It's awesome. All right, man. Do you have a YouTube you want me to put out links to? Or I know StephenBlush.com I'll put in there,
Yeah,
but
StephenBlush.com is good enough for sure.
okay. Awesome, man. Appreciate
Oh,
you.
and also I'm on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Cool.
Stephen Blush is Instagram, and I'm not. It's just Stephen Blush something.
Stephen with a V, not a PH, correct?
Big time, yeah.
All right, man. Cool, man. This will be up actually Monday. Yeah, this will be up quick, man. I'll
And
send you links, and I appreciate you, man. This is awesome. You did this. It was fucking cool talking to you.
yeah, sorry, I did say I had to cut out at this time, so
Yeah, no, I hear you. I get it,
yeah,
man.
and we got it together, so
Yeah,
all the
absolutely.
best. Yeah,
Cool. All right, man.
I love you, man. It's great.
Right on, dude.
All
I'll
right,
see you later.
take care. Bye.
Thanks.